Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Skywind007. On today's episode, we're going to be looking at this. This is the Milwakee 32-piece metric tool set. And I want to emphasize on metric. There is no SAE, only metric. So they're 32-piece. And I also want to point out that the ratchet size is 3/8. So if you're familiar with tools, if you're a mechanic, you know that there's a 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch tool size, but this is only 3/8. So let's open it up. Okay, so the first good thing about it is that you can open it in a non-destructive way. If for whatever reason you want to return it, you can do so without using tape. Okay, so as far as the carry case, it's very nice, looks very professional, and very lightweight. And the reason why I mentioned that, if you've seen my other videos, I did a review on the Dewalt 192-piece tool set. It was crazy heavy. It was 40 pounds. This, I don't know how much it is, but it's meaningless. Anybody can lift it. Even if you're 65-year-old, you can lift it even with just one hand like that. So there's no problem with the weight. Okay, so once you open it up, everything is in the shrink wrap, plastic wrap, whatever you want to call it. So you do have to open it up. Okay, so here we are, and then I do want to remind you that this is only the metric sizes. There's no SAE. That is very, very important. If you're going to be working on an American car, you need SAE. If you're working on a Japanese car or like a Volkswagen German car, you need metric. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is look at all the sizes, make sure that there's no missing. Some tool sets will deliberately have missing sizes. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Those are the long, the so-called deep sockets, and then the short ones, they start out at 6 again. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So there is no 20. As far as the ratchet, there's only one ratchet handle. It is a 3/8. Let me zoom in. And it's very nice, very strong, and it's double two-way like most of them are. It is not locking, as you can see from over here. There's no button here, so it is not the locking type. But you can always just get another, you can buy a separate handle with the locking system, but I'm not planning on doing that. As far as the extension, of course, they're 3/8. So we got this, I believe it's 6-inch, and I believe this is 3-inch. And then we got this elbow, I think that's what they call it, this bendy thing, which is of course the 3/8. Everything here is 3/8. And the reason why I got the 3/8, if you ever worked on a car, you know that the tools come in 3 sizes. The 1/4, which is the smallest one, the 3/8 like this one, which is the intermediate size, and then the 1/2, which is the thicker ones. As far as the not this side but this side, so this is 3/8. And I do find that the most common tools that you use, at least I use, are the 3/8. So this is not a complete set. If you're a mechanic or you're working on cars, the odds are you're going to need, at some point you're going to need a 1/4, and at some point you're going to need a 1/2. But for little things, 90% of the time you're going to be using 3/8. So that's why I got this. Also, it's only metric, and the reason why I got metric is because I mostly work on Japanese cars, which are all metric. So there's no point in having all of those extra sockets making all that weight, because this can get very heavy, like the other tool set that has SAE and Metric at the same time, and it weighs 40 pounds, which is ridiculous. So that's good. And another cool thing about it is that you can pull this out like that. You're doing this one-handed. Let's set this aside. There we go, and I'm messing up the tablecloth. But you can put this on a table, and that's pretty cool. So you don't have to use up all this space. Another thing I want to point out is that these are not locked in there. They don't snap in. They're just loose. So you kind of wonder, will they fall out when you walk with the case closed? So let's find out. Put it back in there. Let's close it. And now let's spin it. And let's open it up. Voila, no mess. So this is perfect. So you don't need that foam over here like some of the other tool sets that you have to have that foam. So that's pretty cool. So I think we are complete as far as this. Because if you need to reach something close, I think you have to align this. No, you just got to press hard. There we go. Ooh, nice. I think that's a 92 teeth. There we go. It is a 90, it won't focus. There we go, it's a 90 tooth design. So what that means is that, you know, if you're in a very tight space and you don't have a lot of angle here, if you have the regular 42 tooth ratchet, it'll sometimes be like this where it doesn't even click once, but with this one, it clicks at least 4 times where the other one would click once. So that's very, very, very good. And it stays nice and in place. It's not going to fall out. So that's good. So if you have something very close, you're in a tight spot like that, and you have only that much space, you can use this. Now if the bolt is hiding out of view, you can just go for the bigger one. You can go for this. So that increases it from, let's see, from 1 inch, it doubles to about 1.5 inches. And if you still can't reach it, you can use an extension. And that extension adds 3 inches. And then you add that. And then if you still can't reach it, you can use this. And that adds 6 inches. Like that. It's amazing. I've been looking a lot for a tool set that is only metric. And they are hard to find. Believe me, they are hard to find. And some people work on a import car. Some people work on a domestic car. But you're never going to work on 2 cars at the same time. So I don't know why they don't make tool sets that are metric and SAE separately. But this Milwakee, they're the only ones, probably one of only 2 companies that make separate metric tools and SAE tools. Another cool thing that I noticed about these tools is that they have this square over here on this side. And I think it's great because normally when you look at sockets on the ratchet side, it's usually a circle. But these, they made it a square, and there's a good reason for that, and it might not be obvious. But sometimes you put you put this on a bolt and you unscrew it with the ratchet. But then once it's loose, you want to do it by hand. Normally they're always just round like this. This one, this Dewalt, they went the extra mile by adding this little grapey thing, so you can do it by hand. But sometimes you're gonna be oily when you're working on a car, and this was just gonna slip like that. So they added that grapey thing, and that's okay. Remember, this is not the Milwakee, this is the Dewalt. but the Milwakee, they went the extra mile. And then they added this square where it's even easier to spin it by hand once you're no longer using the ratchet. And over here, sometimes when you're doing it by hand but you can't reach it all the way and you don't want to use the ratchet, you have this grippy thing over here, and that helps. And this one too. And I'm very glad that these do not snap on, that they're just held there by gravity. And they're also very visible, the numbers. If you look at here, you can see it from far away, because if you look at this one, this is the Dewalt. This one you gotta really go in just to see. But this one, you can see from far away. And of course they are engraved. They're not, it's not painted in, it's engraved. So that's very good. Okay folks, so before we finish this video, I do want to do a test. Because they don't lock in place as we saw before, I do want to find out how much shaking it's going to take for them to just be thrown out. So let's pretend I have Parkinson's. Let's just say I have Parkinson's and I have very shaky hands like that. So would I be able to use these having Parkinson's? So that's fairly good. Most of them stayed in place. So the next thing I want to do, let me put this back there, is how much tilt will it take for them to come off. So let's tilt them. I think that's 45. It's a lot. That's almost 90 right there. So let's go the other way. Okay, let's see. Okay, so you can go over 45 and they'll still stay in place. So if you're gonna be working on a mountaintop or on a mountainside, like Mount Everest, Mount Sinai, or even Mount Helen here in the US, you can still use these, because if you're in Mount Helen or Mount Everest, you're gonna be like this and they're not gonna come off. Okay, so the next test I want to do is see how they would react if you live in an area where there's constant earthquakes. So let's see what would happen. Let's generate an earthquake. Pretty cool. So you can work with these if you live in an area where there's a lot of earthquake, like in Okinawa, Japan. So that's good. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is check for damage on the plastic area from all that shaking, from all those earthquakes. And I don't see any cracks. This is nice and sturdy. I think this would last years and years and years and years. There's no cracks, no scratches. Well, a little bit of scratches, but that's from the earthquake in Mount Everest. But everything looks great. So I think this survives the earthquake in Mount Everest. And so this is my unboxing. I hope you enjoyed it. So I'm very happy, specifically for that reason, for the reason that it's only metric, because that's all I need. So thank you for watching, subscribe, and thumbs up.